Hello and welcome to the 7th video in my Part 4 Java MTA course. In this video we're going to be talking about jump statements and the different types of jump statements that you need to know for the MTA exam. As always, I'm going to talk about the key information that you need to remember, and then I'm going to give you some questions to cement that knowledge. So let's get started. So the first thing you need to know is that a jump statement is allowing us to move the program's execution control in a loop or a switch statement. So you've already encountered the break command, which allows us to jump out of that switch statement. You can also use the break command in a loop that allows you to break the loop. So you can enter into the loop and then you could do a test condition. If true, you can break it with the break command. There are two other commands that you need to know. So you need to know the break jump statement, the continue jump statement, and the return jump statement. I think that we've already covered the return statement enough in previous videos. So in this video, we're just going to be looking at break and continue. So do remember that they're going to be focusing on either a loop or a switch statement and breaking out of that. So if we map the break onto a Java code, we can say, while this is true, we want to say, do you want to continue the loop? And then if they say no, they don't want to continue the loop, then we use the break command, and this will break that loop and then jump us out of that loop segment to go on to the code afterwards. For continue, it works in a very similar way. However, for here, what will happen is if I equals 3 or I equals 7, it will do the continue jump statement, and this will continue on to the next iteration. So instead of doing line 12 and 13, it will skip this and it will go back to the line 8 again and continue with the iteration. So break breaks that loop, continue breaks that iteration of that loop. So it'll go on to the next iteration. So let's have a look at how we could use that information to answer the questions that will appear in an MTA exam. So these are some typical questions that you might experience. The first one, we've got a section of code, and you just need to work out the output from this code. Number 2, the same. You're going to need to get another section of code, and you have to work out the output. So stop the video and see if you can work out what would this print out. So hopefully you've stopped the video. Let's go through. So we have line 7, we have a counter variable. So while this is true, so this will always be true, so this will never stop running. However, we do have a break there, so if we hit that, it will break that loop. So what will happen on line 9 is we +1 to counter, so then counter is 1, and it's saying that if counter is less than 3, so 1 is less than 3, so we do this. So nothing is printed out yet, because what will happen is line 13, 14 and 15 will be skipped. So we'll go back to line 8 again. Count will be +1 again, so that'll be 2. 2 is less than 3. So again, we'll go into that if statement. That continue will break the iteration and go back to line 8. And we'll do line 9 again, which is +1. 3 is not less than 3, so we do not do the if statement. So we print out 3. So that will be the first one that will be print out. And then we're saying if counter equals 5, which is not true, so we don't do that. We go back up to line 8 again. The counter goes number 4. Again, it doesn't match the condition for the if statement there. However, line 4 will be printed out, number 4 will be printed out in line 13. Again, it's not 5, so we'll miss that if statement. Go back to the top, and then we have 5. Again, 5 is greater than 3, so 5 is not less than 3, so that condition is false. We print out 5. 5 is equal to 5, so we go in there. This breaks our loop, and then we end that condition or end that loop. So the output from the first piece of code will be 3, 4, and 5. So you just need to get used to using that continue and break within a while or loop statement. Number 2, this is a switch. statement. If you're not familiar with the switch statement, you need to go back and watch the videos about the switch statement. So in line 7, we've created a number variable, which we've then inputted into the switch statement. And then we're saying, well, based on that number 2 isn't equal to 1, so we don't do case 1. 2 is equal to 2, so we start on line 11. So again, on line 11, we are then creating a new variable called I that allows us to count. So 0 is less than 10. So we go on to line 13. 13 is, sorry, I is less than 8 because I is 0. So we continue that. So that will go back up to there. So I will be 2. I will be 1. 1 is less than 10. So we go down to 13. 1 is less than 8. So we continue. Then we go down to 2. 2 is less than 10. 2 is less than 8, so we go to continue. I is 3. 3 is less than 10. 3 is less than 8, so we continue. Go 4. 4 is less than 10. 4 is less than 8, so we continue. And we'll go all the way till we get to 8. So if we go 8, so if I equals 8, then this still happens. So we start printing out 8 because I is 8. We'll do 9. 9 is less than 10, but 9 is not less than 8. So we go down and we print 9. And then we go to 10. 10 is less than 10 is not less than 10. So we break that for loop and then break that switch statement. So the result of 2 should be 8, 9. And then looking at the third one, where would you be able to add the jump statement and continue? So any loop, so for example, while you can do it, as well as for, you can use it to break. And you can do it in the switch case. So you, again, using break in that switch statement. So you can use continue and break for while and for, and then you can use break for the switch statement. So before you go, are you able to remember the 3 jump statements that you need to know for the exam? So can you recall them? What is the difference between break and continue? And in the comment section, maybe you can give an example of how you could do a return statement in a break, in a switch, or a for or while loop. Again, if you enjoyed this video, please like. If you found it useful, please subscribe. If you want to know more about the MTA mock exam or test papers for the MTA, please subscribe and I'll keep you up to date with all the mock exams that I'm publishing. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.